Sure, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Okay, we're live. So do you want to look at the script for calibration?
Yeah.
And if you scroll down to sort of midway on page 7.
The room leader presentation, looking for accurate scores?
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, now that you are successfully seeing both the first calibration paper and the score form, read the first calibration paper in the queue. Decide which anchor paper is most like the calibration paper, or find the 2 papers that this paper is closest to, and then decide as you compare each attribute of the paper to the anchors. Read the anchor paper and read the AWC language for the correct scores on that anchor paper. Remember to score holistic first, then content, structure, sentence fluency, and conventions. Score the calibration paper for each attribute. Enter your scores in the score form on the AWC online. You must select scores for all 5 attributes. If you don't, the system will not allow you to submit your scores. Submit your score by clicking on the blue button below the score form that says Submit.
And then we pause for a really long time while people read and score the papers. And that's okay. We've asked them just to keep their video going continuously. And I realized I should have hit play for all. Hold on. So we're going to be behind.
So right now I'm seeing this, image of Linda with the snowy trees.
Exactly. So we're a little bit behind. So this is that delay, but also because I didn't start it right away like I should have.
So in the way this works, though, whether it's Jason talking or me talking, one of us, our faces would be there?
Exactly.
Okay. So I kind of like the snowy trees.
Yeah. So right now on Hangout page, I still see the Alexina picture.
Oh, you didn't refresh. That's why.
Let's see. Okay, there it is.
So Jason, what were you seeing then? Were you weren't seeing the picture of Linda up there, but you were hearing it all?
I'm hearing it right now through the chat window, this Google Hangout chat window, but when because I'm not playing the video, the sort of like 45-second delay tape on the untest Hangout. So as the facilitator, I'm just kind of like orienting myself, but then, so basically, Linda, I'm probably not going to, Amy and I probably will not press play. Like we won't be watching, we shouldn't be watching ourselves on a 45-second delay.
No, that will make you crazy.
It will make us crazy, yeah.
Yeah. And so either Steph or I will press play, and I'm adding something to the script for first thing in the morning, which is in the chat. NWP staff should remind table leaders / scores to refresh their windows in the Hangout and let people know that we will begin shortly.
So Amy and myself, we won't do the play for all. We won't do any except for join Hangout on air.
Exactly.
Okay, that's helpful.
Okay, so Jason, we need to decide which one of us will do the setup and probably, should that really just be the same person all the way through here? You see where are you on the...
Seems so, right? Brackets. I can do that.
Okay.
High school, Jason to do.
So now we can pretend, so we'll have to be really quiet in here. We can probably mute ourselves in the Hangout on Air because otherwise the scorers will be able to hear what we're saying in this room. So we have a couple of choices while people are scoring. We could leave this, and probably Steph will start this, and then she'll just be a permanent presence in here, so this keeps going the whole time. So if we want to talk with each other, we can just go to the room leaders table while people are scoring, or we can type in the white chat in the Google Hangout on Air to say when you know, people are ready for things. Oh, I suppose I could come back on camera, huh? I know it's not the same as the snowy trees.
Okay, so on the reveal of the correct scores, that part, that's really just where we take turns. So right now we may not know which one of us will do which part, right? But we can add that in once we've decided, correct, Jason?
Exactly.
Okay. So then the next part we need to assign is the move to your assigned table groups for 6-minute discussion.
And you know what I would suggest is think about this in terms of papers. So Amy, say for example you're doing paper 16701. I would do the whole room facilitation for the entire paper, and then Jason could come in for 16702.
Yeah.
So do we want to try, oh actually you know what, I can't, if I exit out of here, we will lose this feed. So if you want to try exiting out of here and going to the table leader table as though...
Just to see what happens.
Okay, let's try that, Amy.
Yeah. And then I'll call you back. I'll send you a little note to come back to the to the GHOA or to the lobby.
All right, I made it.
Yay!
So did Amy.
Yay! All right. Are you beginning to get a little bit more of a feel for how this will work?
Yeah.
Okay, a new button. I have several new buttons that just showed, or is this maybe unique to the Hangout? There's a control room switch that's now showing up, and a Q&A and showcase.
Yep.
That's kind of fun. Okay. Is that because we're...
It's because we're administrators, and I think some of these are new tools. Some of these might be things that the Unhangout folks added into the...
Okay. So back to our script. Is that where we are next?
Mm-hmm.
So we take turns on the scores. We send people to their assigned table for 6 minutes of discussion. Jason, are we probably okay with just whichever one of us finishes with the last calibration paper?
Yeah.
Then, so that's just going to be whichever one of us is at that point.
Right.
And then that part about during table leader meeting, move back and forth between table leader, table, and lobby to simulate the experience of scores. Linda,
That's what we just did.
Okay, that's just what we did. Okay, okay, thank you.
And there will be somebody on, I think it will be Steph, who will just stay logged into the Hangout on air.
Okay.
Okay.
She won't ever leave.
Now, Amy, you're going to be revealing the correct scores tomorrow because you're
Yes.
the room leader for the table leaders.
Yeah.
Well, I think you should take turns.
Take turns.
We will be able to take turns?
Yeah, because you can see, the table leader and the room leader can see all of the same things, and you'll only have one table, so.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, so you should definitely take turns.
Okay, good.
Got it.
So, and that way too, whatever we divide up, I think it'd be easier if that's what we stick with both days. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Great. And then at the end of, once we get through all 6 papers, I think we'll really want to spend some time with the table leaders, with the 3 table leaders, planning for the facilitation of the table groups and sort of what to expect.
Okay.
And I think for that, we'll just go right into that table leader table and just talk to each other, because we'll just be in a regular Google Hangout then.
Okay.
Okay. And then obviously on Friday, we don't score. We'll go back to page 1 and we'll start with the full group of scorers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our goal should be to give everybody at least an hour break, but if we can give a little bit longer than that, I think that would be even better.
Mm-hmm.
So let's, if your brains can stand it and you have a few more, just a little bit longer, let's take a look at, scroll down to Saturday afternoon and look at the scoring blocks. So we have an hour and 20-minute scoring block. We may want a little bit longer, but we can be a little bit flexible with the time on this schedule, and as a person in your room who will be an administrator, I will take care of turning on and off the blocks, so you don't need to worry about that.
Okay.
Okay, great.
And at the beginning of that scoring block, you'll sort of talk people through what the process for scoring is. Well, James, so there's a script for you that explains how to get to to the scores, to the scoring.
You're on page 10?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Is that a script then, though? I mean, it says James and Alexina write a script for what people need to know, but do Jason and I then read that off?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
I had to like persuade them to get on camera at all.
Oh.
They're totally great, but they also are not wanting to do that. So
Yeah.
they were like, well, it really just makes so much more sense for the room leaders to do this.
That's funny.
And I'm fine with that unless, Jason, if you want to
Yeah, go for it.
that part.
And Amy, you've actually seen the AWC online, although in a face-to-face environment. So you've used it for scoring.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking that once people start scoring, that the three of us might want to go and sit at the room leader table, because that way we won't be broadcasting things, and it will be easy for people to come and find us.
Okay.
If that sounds good. And we can talk in there, and not everybody will hear.
So anybody can come and find us in there.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Will they know that?
So I think we should announce that.
Right.
So I'm going to add that during scoring, we leaders will be in the room leader table. You can come and find us. There. They won't be able to broadcast messages, but they could just, like a table leader could come over, just like they would come up to the table at the front of the room and come in and consult with you.
Mm-hmm.
Or they could also come and ask you, could you come to a conference room? So we have different spaces where that can happen. And then one thing that we haven't worked out is like exactly how the table leaders will get the scorers to come back to the lobby, or come back to their tables, and to have a conference.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to delete this.
And then one of the things that you'll see on Sunday, we'll definitely do a calibration paper on Sunday morning. So you can either have people score a new paper, and on Saturday at our room leader meeting, we can definitely decide sort of what we think people need. So you can have people score something new, much as Gail and Faye and Julie did. You can have people reread an anchor paper, go back to a calibration paper. So there are a lot of options for that. So even though we don't have massive numbers of calibration and recalibration papers, I think there are some different ways to handle that.
Okay.
When do they do the mini lesson?
They should have done that before they look through the anchor papers.
Okay.
That might be something that you, when you're discussing the anchor papers, that you want to point people back to. Because I went through that today, and that's the one thing that doesn't have a voiceover with it. I mean, it's pretty clear. I don't think it needs to have a voiceover, but if there are any things that you sort of want to pull out from that as you're discussing the anchor papers, you could do that as well. And Amy, are you also thinking that there might be some things in terms of issues that come up in scoring that you might want to like point people back to that as well?
Right. Yeah, so that's where I can see, just like we would do in a normal face-to-face conference, that feedback from the table leaders and then discussion between Jason and myself to plan what we need to do, especially beginning on Sunday.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. So do we need to talk through then these issues to resolve?
So if you have thoughts about any of these, we could certainly add our thinking to them, or you guys could go ahead and look at those questions and just write some notes in the document. And I think that during the sort of table leader orientation, these are questions that James and Stephanie and Alexina posed to the table leaders, so they may also have done some thinking about these.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any other ideas on that. And Jason, were you in on the call the other night when we were brainstorming this?
No, I missed this call. But it's, I mean, you know, this is good for now.
Okay.
Great. And do the two of you have each other's, we should all make sure that we have each other's phone numbers.
Yeah, we just exchanged.
Here, I'm going to stop recording. I'm like, wait, we don't really need to